I am not a perfect person, not even close. There's a lot of things about myself that I want to improve. There's a lot of things that I look internally at and say, well, that can be fixed, or that's not quite where I want it to be. And I think it's important to take those moments, take those little self-critiques and self-criticisms, and to appreciate them for what they are, opportunities for growth. And I was talking to a friend about some of their situations, and he mentioned the idea of having a laundry list of things to work on and to kind of a to-do list of weaknesses to address. And my response to him is, cherish those weaknesses, because once you're doing everything right, once you get rid of them, once you're pretty close to perfect, the only thing you have left then is to try to have to grind through and build up your strengths, which is much harder. It's so much easier to get better at things when you find those weaknesses. And the way that this kind of relates to the session that you guys are watching is, as that last bit of my training block was really going well, I have been finding a couple of weaknesses that have been really exciting to me. I guess I have a really strange reaction to this, but it's because of the mentality and the perspective that I put on those weaknesses. Whenever something is not going as well as I would ideally like it to, I flip it around and say, well, what's the positive way to look at this? Oh yeah, I've been doing these other things wrong, or I have this other opportunity to work on those, and the progress should come faster as a result of fixing those. Right now, my work capacity is pretty darn low, and it's something that used to not be an issue with me. The last video I talked about how sometimes if you're not paying enough attention to the things that you're good enough, or if you take them for granted, they start to slip away on you. And that is really something that's very prevalent in the powerlifting community. It's just necessary to continue working across the board to at least maintain where your strengths are, so that while you're bringing up your weaknesses, you don't turn those strengths into weaknesses due to neglect. And with me, my work capacity has been slowly kind of fading as I've been pursuing these higher and higher numbers. I'm not going to pretend that all of the programming choices I was making for myself were absolutely the best idea ever. At the time, they felt great, and I still look back and say, well, the level I was able to achieve over the course of 6 or 7 weeks is a positive benefit, because it kind of reset my work capacity a little bit lower, which seems, again, at first like a negative thing. It's frustrating to try to add work capacity back in, but what that did is it resensitized me to some of this higher volume training. I was working with such high intensities, constantly pushing PRs, that now when I go back to this, my body has to go through a little bit more of an adaptation, which is uncomfortable at first. And a lot of people don't like kind of feeling like they're pulling backwards, but this is where I have made the most progress in the past, is when I kind of drop back, put in some good solid volume-filled, hard, grindy work, and it's not the immediate satisfaction that gets you to your goal. It's not going in and hitting a PR every single time. That isn't sustainable. It can't last through the long haul. And the idea of how I live most of my life is this kind of grind mentality of enjoying the process, of just putting in that hard work and beating it to death until it gets better is the only other course of option. And so right now, it's going to be a little uncomfortable for a bit while I'm trying to get my work capacity back up, trying to bring up my total volume for the week. And this session itself, I actually combined a few different workouts together, my Saturday and my Sunday session, into one kind of super session to force kind of a shock adaptation to this volume. And then next week, when I'm lowering the intensity of my first 2 sessions from what I'm used to going to after these, I'm going to be increasing the volume across the board and splitting this 3rd day back into a 3rd and a 4th day. My plan, my idea is that it's going to give me a chance to kind of reacclimate to some of this volume and to start and spread that workout some more and get my total volume over the course of the week up, because a lot of people understand, and some people don't understand, that one of the biggest points to progression and improvement when it comes to physical activity, especially weightlifting, is increasing your total volume over time. And but it comes through these kind of peaks and valleys. You have your volume over the course of a microcycle, which could be as short as a week or as long as 8 weeks. And then you have your macrocycle. And the total volume over the course of each macrocycle is what I'm looking at right now. Is the last time I prepped for a meet, was I getting as much volume as I'm hoping to get now? And you have to look at it in those terms. And so the idea right now is to try to bring up some of those volume numbers, and I started intentionally kind of on this line of, yeah, I should be able to handle this and add more next time, but at the same time I don't want to go too easy at the start, because then I don't force the adaptation. You have to tear down to build up and find those weaknesses and really start to push them for them to to kind of gain that momentum back towards that improvement. So a lot of thoughts going on in my head today. But as for numbers in the actual workout, worked up to some squats, trying to get my overall volume and frequency on my competition style squat up, though I did use my looser knee sleeves on this day, which some people say it doesn't make a difference. I know that my buddy Garrett Blevins has said that his sleeves don't give him any more than 5 or potentially 10 pounds, and I love and respect Garrett very much, and I respectfully disagree with at least my knee sleeve situation. I think a lot of it has to do with individuals' differences on their how they squat, what the tightness of the knee sleeve, different proportions of your leg and how it works. A lot of stuff that I don't completely understand, but I definitely feel like my tighter sleeves give me more. So that's why I'm using the looser ones on this day to kind of have a higher standard of myself and rely a little less on my equipment. Afterwards, I did my 3 sets of 3 at around 80%. Then I dropped down to 80% of my assumed pause squat max and did 3 doubles there with relatively short rest periods, trying to increase my work density as well, so more volume per minute, I guess, over the course of the session, which is something I'm pretty bad at right now too. So my overall volume and work capacity is pretty low, and my volume density right now is something that needs to be improved. That comes with conditioning and just kind of forcing the issue until you get better at it. Benching was alright, not great. I was trying to move my grip in about a finger width due to some advice from Matt Phelps, who I'm working with on my bench pressing to improve that. And I added in a little bit more upper back work just for some volume on that, and because I think it's been a neglected part again. And generally, I think that my upper back tightness is a big factor for keeping my squat position, keeping my bench at the bottom position really solid. I need a tighter upper back for that. And then for my deadlifts, just for obvious reasons. So after that, hit my pause deadlifts. I always do this with a stiff bar and without a belt. Starting off a little bit lighter than I have been going, just so I can get some more total volume over the session, starting out with 3 doubles there, and I will be able to increase that each week until I get to a more appropriate amount of lifts. And when I switch it back to the 4th day, I should have a little bit more energy in that session to make things work a little better. So that's the plan, or at least parts of it. I do have a couple of fun announcements coming up, but I'm going to wait until things get finalized before I let you guys in on those big, super secret, awesome times. Other than that, I have my next session on Tuesday. Until then, I'm going to rest super hard and get some good food, get some good sleep, recovery, mobility, all that stuff. And just want to thank you all again for following along, and for if you've listened this far, that means a lot to me. So thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great night. Bye.